Razor has one of the better feeling kits in Genshin Impact in my opinion, as his whole gameplay loop just feels really solid, and I've always enjoyed him as a character for that reason. And not to mention he's a rock solid 4-star that can dish out some solid damage. But recently it's been brought to my attention that there's a set on Razor that I think is incredibly fun, and it's actually become my favorite set to use on Razor, so let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Blossums, and today we're going to be going over a set that I think is really solid on Razor and a ton of fun, and it's a set I've even recommended in my other build guides. But the more I thought about it, the more I liked it, and then the more I played it, the more I liked it as well. So today we're going to be talking about it a little bit and going in a little bit more depth on it. And what artifact set are we talking about? Well, we're talking about the Shimenawas Reminiscence, and a lot of you might look at this and go, well, yeah, of course that's a great set, and I would agree it's a solid set on Razor. I've even recommended it myself, but the more you think about Shimenawa's Reminiscence and the way it synergizes with Razor's kit, it becomes way more interesting, and once I started to realize this and started to play with it more, I started to like it a lot more. Also, while playing with this actually was a little bit better than the usual set that a lot of people run, the 2 Pale Flame, then like the 2 Bloodstained Chivalry, and of course, or otherwise, the 4-piece Pale Flame. Those are both excellent sets for Razor, but this one, even with about like 10 or 11-ish less crit damage, was still edging out just a little bit more damage than the others. So technically this does do more damage, but I will say it is a negligible amount, and you have to deal with the quote-unquote con that you are losing that energy. But why does this synergize so well with Razor? And we're going to talk about that right now. So the reason this synergizes so well with Razor in particular is because that the cost is only 15 energy, which really isn't that bad for our boy, primarily because, of course, well, if you're below 50% on your energy there for your elemental burst, you're automatically getting an increase in your energy recharge by 30%, which is fantastic. So even when you lose energy, the amount you gain is going to be significant. So if you're like 60% energy and you consume 15 energy, that puts you below the 50% threshold, then the energy you gain is going to be more substantial than it would have been beforehand. And not to mention, Razor also has this sigil system embedded into his E skill. And the way the sigil system works is that whenever you press his E skill, you deal some electro damage and you gain an electro sigil. Whenever you gain one of these electro sigils, it increases his energy recharge by 20% per electro sigil. And you can carry up to 3 of those, meaning if you're carrying all 3, you're getting 60% extra energy recharge there. And yeah, so you're going to be having no energy problems with Razor while he has those sigils. And then when you hold his E skill, you consume those sigils and you get 5 energy per sigil absorbed. And when you're holding 3 sigils, guess how much energy you get? Yes, 15 energy. So even if you want to consume all of the sigils and you proc Shimenawas, you're getting the energy right back. And then on top of that, you're getting the energy particles. There's a lot embedded into Razor's kit that just negates the whole 15 energy cost. And even at 100 energy recharge, I've had no problems getting my Razor burst off of cooldown. It's at 130 right now because he's below 50% on his total elemental burst energy at the moment. So yeah, if you have even a little bit of energy recharge subsets on your Shimenawas, you're going to be totally fine in getting his elemental burst off of recharge. So the cost of Shimenawas here really isn't that bad, and he's probably my favorite character to have it on, just because he has so much into his kit that basically negates it. Not to mention the fact that Razor's an electro character, and the moment you pair him with another electro character, you can start to generate a ton of free energy due to the electro resonance, where anytime you do superconduct, overload, electro charge, you gain an additional elemental electro particle there. So that makes it even easier if you were actually having any energy recharge problems, which you probably shouldn't be in the first place, just because he has so much baked into his kit. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this set on Razor. So before we show it off, let's go ahead and just go over what I have going on my particular artifacts. Of course, I have the 4-piece Shimenawas here, and we're doing attack percent, physical damage bonus, and then crit rate with a bunch of crit damage substats, just so you know how that's all going. And I don't have any energy recharge here. I have a little bit of defense, which is just happenstance, and that's a-okay. If I could make this a little bit better, I'd say just a little bit of attack or energy recharge would be helping out a bit, but otherwise this is fantastic. Also, I have the Wolf's Gravestone on him, meaning I'm getting a ton of attack. It's got high base attack, and you get attack from its passive. It just is attack essential, and it's a really good weapon on Razor. So this is what I'm using. If you want a 4-star option to run with this, of course, things like the Serpent Spine are good, and of course, things like the Black Cliff Slasher are pretty good. But otherwise, you might be stuck with something like the Snow Tomb Star Silver as a free-to-play player, and I think those are kind of where your options end. You could force a couple other options on him if you want to, but if you're looking to make the most of a Shimenawa set, something like these 3 are going to be your best options. And of course, if you have any other 5-star Claymore, that's likely going to be a fantastic option as well, just because they all have high base attack by default, and generally they're going to be pretty good for his kit. Let's just start by showing him off against some general hill churls here. We'll go ahead and fight this nerd. And you'll see when I use my E skill, we'll consume 15 energy, and let's see how much we get back. And you see we got it pretty much right back because of the extra energy recharge he has. And you'll see we have 1 Electro Sigil now, which means when we do it again, we're going to be getting even more energy than we did the first time. Something like that. And you can continue the cycle, and you notice the E skill is less than the 10 seconds that you have on Shimenawas, so you're going to be able to gain even more energy than you cost on Shimenawas, and building up your energy is not going to be very hard, especially once you start to stack these sigils. And eventually your E skill is just going to be putting out a ton of energy for you, and then you can consume them before your burst and get it right back, as I mentioned before there. So you're not gonna have to worry about having too much energy or wasting your sigils or anything. So that's just something to mention there. So if you're a bit more of a relax and turn off your brain while you play kind of player, and you don't really want to think about too much while you're playing your Razor, then this really isn't for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's totally fine to play that way. But if you did want to add that extra layer or of depth to the character and playing the character that way, then I think this is the set for you. It's a little bit stronger, and it allows you to just manipulate his sigil system a lot more. Being able to cash in all of the sigils without them feeling like they were wasted before you cast your elemental burst is really nice in my opinion. I really like the loop that this provides, so I'm going to go ahead and just show off some gameplay with this so you guys can get a feel for how it works, and then we'll go ahead and give my general conclusions. So we're just going to show it off a bit in this domain here, and I'll actually use some characters with them as well, just so you guys get the feel of the team scenarios as well, and where you can really pop off. Especially when you're pairing with the team, you super don't need to worry about the energy recharge at all, especially in Electro Resonance comp. That'll help you out a ton. I really like him and Yaimiko together, especially since Razor's such a selfish character. Being able to have those totems on the field is really nice, and I'm not trying to swap too much just so you can see more of that highlighted gameplay of just Razor. But we'll go ahead and do it again real quick. And you see we're gaining plenty of energy here to fund Shimenawas as much as we can, allowing us to really pop off and deal that damage. And we can just cash in our charged E there. And we are doing more electro damage here than we should be because of the ley line disorder here. We get like 40% extra electro damage bonus, so do keep that in mind. But that is the initial showcase there for you. All right, well, some of you might be wondering, well, what if I don't have Electro Resonance? And what if I don't have Trasher Mobs to gain some extra energy for my Razor? What does that look like? Don't worry, I got you covered. Got a bit of a girthier boss here, and we're going to go ahead and fight off him along with Razor. And I will say, when you don't have something like the Electro Resonance, you need to play into the Electro Sigils a lot more. You need to start gaining those stacks for your Razor so you can go ahead and inevitably dunk them in before your elemental burst. And it does hurt quite a bit more whenever you don't do that, because you're not going to be getting the Shimenawas bonus for your elemental burst. And you see I cashed them all in there, got my burst back, and I was able to get my E back refunded like that. Being able to cash in all of your electro stacks to get the elemental burst is pretty huge, because you don't really generate any particles with Razor in his elemental burst like this, at least with his E skill, so you would be reliant on the electro sigils. And at least you can keep the electro sigils off the field for a bit, and they last for quite a good while, so you can go ahead and not have to worry about that too much at the very least. But yeah, you definitely got to play into the electro sigils a lot more. You see I'm still not really having that many issues with electro or with my energy on this like boss at all. And I'm not even trying to play optimally where I'm like swapping my characters a ton, but I just wanted to exacerbate, you know, how to play into the sigils, cash them in for the elemental burst, and that Shimenawas really wasn't hindering my progress on the elemental burst. So yeah, overall, I really like this set on Razor. This is going to be my go-to Razor set, and for those of you with a full Shimenawas reminiscent set that you don't know exactly where to put it, well, I think Razor's a pretty good answer to that question, as he mitigates the whole cost problem that a lot of characters generally run into, and he benefits from it very greatly, especially considering the fact the elemental burst scales off of his normal attack damage, and you're just dealing more damage than you typically would, and all of the energy sufficiency options Razor has, and being able to pair him with electro resonance. Shimenawas is actually a very good pick on Razor, and I really enjoy it. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Are you more influenced to use Shimenawas on your Razor now, or are you going to stick with a two-piece Fizz set and a two-piece Fizz set, or just a full Pale Flame or something? Let me know in the comment section below. I'd like to know your thoughts on this set, and if you like the synergy that I pointed out here today. But other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. My name is Blossums, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.